Good morning, folks, and welcome to another great edition of Money Truth Moments with our very own Money Truth expert and whisperer, Judy Gopenbarger. How are you this morning?
Fantastic. Good morning. I opened up the windows so I could watch the rain. We are really enjoying this season. It's beautiful. Of course, we have a little farm, so the rain is very important to us. So today's a
I was
great,
going to
rainy,
say,
wonderful day.
it looks like a painting right behind you. I mean, everything's so green. It just, yeah, it's awesome.
We love it. We love it. All the plants are happy right now.
Excellent. Folks, if you're just joining us for the first time, welcome. Make sure that you follow Judy at judykopenbarger.today. Also, on the top left-hand side, you can see we have a QR code on there. Make sure you scan it on your phone if you're watching this on your computer. And give us a follow. Suggest also some new topics that you'd like Judy to address. But more importantly, let's get to today's show. So, folks, if you're just joining us today, we're going to be talking about small legal oversights that become big financial problems. And that's a big one for a lot of us. So, what do you say we get started, Judy?
Let's do it.
All right. So, many financial problems don't start with money at all. They start with small legal oversights, right? So this episode is going to really just focus on exploring how seamlessly minor legal details can quietly create stress and financial stress over time. So, Judy, people don't usually connect legal planning with financial stress. Why should they?
Yeah, when you think about financial planning, people are thinking, well, how do I allocate my 401k? What stock should I be in? How much pension should I have? Things like that. But it's just as important to protect your wealth as you're growing it than it is to grow it, right? So you need to grow and protect at the same time. So the legal planning is one of the ways that we protect by using contracts like life insurance contracts, car insurance contracts, policies, that can help replace assets if there's a loss. But there's also things like protection of your assets. There are trusts that can do that, LLCs when it comes to businesses and entities. There are different legal entities that can help protect against lawsuits from, any kind of loss or exposure. And then, of course, the estate planning. And I think that the hesitation for a lot of people is they don't know where to start. It's overwhelming. If I Google it, it's like going to the library and there's a wall of books, right? Which one do I pick up and what chapter is relevant for me? So if they don't know where to start, that's an issue. Another thing is, well, if I start, how much is it going to cost me? How much time am I going to have to spend? And do I have to get a lawyer? Maybe, right? Is it going to be an expensive monthly expense for me if it's a policy? I think those are the reasons people usually kind of delay the planning. I don't think it's just they don't know. I think most people sleep better once they do it because it's kind of there. They know they should do something, but where do I start?
And you know what? The other thing is also there's certain things in life that you just can't be cheap about, right? Especially if it's your future, especially if it's related to your family or your business. You really want to talk to somebody who's an expert, and that's the point of why we're talking about this today.
Right.
So, why do you think that people delay legal planning until something goes wrong?
Well, they're people. It's just typical avoidance behavior. I don't want to deal with it. Life's already busy. That sounds complicated, sounds expensive. I don't really want to do it. But you know what usually triggers people to do the planning is something happens. There's a death of someone close to them. There's an illness or a condition that shows up maybe in their family. Something happens to a friend's family. Whether they have a house burned down, they lose a car, somebody gets diagnosed with something serious. Maybe you just move or your family changes. All of a sudden you have triplets. Shoot, I should do something. I should get a will, right? Or your family changes. Maybe your kids get married, or maybe they were married, now they're not. What do we do with those in-laws that maybe became outlaws, right? So I think the changes are often triggered by life events, not like you wake up one day and go, I should probably take care of that. Usually there's something that triggers it.
Right. And that's also very important that we need to really pay attention to some of this because life happens. We're on the go, 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 go. And it's, when it's a little too late, it just, like I said earlier too, you don't want to be cheap on certain things. You want to have things in place that are going to protect you long haul too, right?
Right.
Folks, if you're joining us, welcome. Please make sure that you are following the show and you also are sharing it out as well. Today, we're talking about small legal oversights that become big financial problems. And we're discussing how to avoid them, if at all possible, for sure. So, you've been doing this now for a while, right? And
A little
what
while,
legal
yeah.
over what legal oversights do you see most often that lead to these financial issues?
Oh, I would say the biggest problems that I'm called in to solve are ones where it's not like I should have had more stock or I should have had more bonds. It's not those kind of financial things. It's a lack of protection generally. When I'm kind of coming in to help the family mop up, it's like woulda, shoulda, coulda. I wish I would have known. I wish I would have taken action. I wish I would have looked into that. And that's usually in the areas. It sounds like I'm all about life insurance, but that's the one thing. Um, I've never had a family come to me after someone has passed away and say, we just had too much life insurance. That death benefit was way too high. What am I going to do? Right. But I've had many conversations where, we had that policy for so long and then we dropped it and then we needed it and didn't have it. Or we could have done more. We could have done more. And it really wouldn't have cost that much more. We could have managed that if we'd known the actual outcome. But you don't think it's going to happen to you, right? Especially if it's an unexpected death earlier than expected. Um, I think the other area is, and the biggest one is probably lack of estate planning. And estate planning, it's everything from powers of attorney to manage assets in the event that you die, but you're not able to manage them. There's some dementia issues, some physical or mental condition where you really shouldn't be managing your assets, somebody else should, but you didn't put in place that succession. Like, who would it be? And so we have to go to court to figure all that stuff out. Very awful process to go through for families when they're already suffering something, that's going on in your world. Maybe someone's not well, or there's been an accident or some trauma. Or there's just not a will in place, or somebody has like beneficiaries on their 401k or their life policy or something at work, and then they get divorced and then remarried, but they never change the beneficiary, and the new spouse finds out too late. Oops, it's a very small oversight, but if you're going through the checklist and you're making sure your whole house is in order, that can be a big, awful oversight and change the whole trajectory of how life's going to go for someone you really care about, just from not doing it. So it's getting your will in place, especially if you have minor children or dependents, making sure that where they go and how they're going to be raised and who's managing their assets for them is handled. And then, of course, all of the, mitigating estate tax and mitigating property taxes and things like that. That's just usually expensive and it can be fixed. Everything eventually will get where it needs to go. But I think it's those first things where that the quality of the life of the people we leave behind, or our life, if we're still living but unable to manage it ourselves, the quality goes way down for lack of planning. And those are probably the key areas.
So, for somebody who's listening right now, and somebody who's, it's that procrastinator, right? Hey, I'll get around to it when I get around to it, kind of thing. What would you say in a few words that would explain how crucial the role of legal planning is in everyday financial life?
Nike. That's one word, right? Just do it. Just do it. Get started, do something, make progress, at least pick up the phone and get a referral, pick up the phone, make a phone call to, if you need to update your trust documents or something, call somebody. Maybe check with your financial institutions. What are my beneficiaries? Do they need to be updated? Do I have my kids on there when it should be my trust, right? Because we don't know, the order of how life's going to go. And I think the results of having all of that tucked in and in order, this is what I get to help people do every day, right? This is what I do with my clients, going through all of those 160 checkpoints. But the result of that is peace of mind. You sleep better at night knowing it's done. If something happens to me and I don't come home from date night, where are the passwords? Is the trust updated? Is everything in order where everybody knows where it is, who to talk to, and how to get it done? Because they're going to be dealing with a loss, right? If something happened to Larry or I. So peace of mind is a big one. Confidence shows up. Confidence that I've done well. I've done it with excellence. I've done it. So if I'm not here to say how I want things to go, somebody can follow the trail crumb trail that I leave behind. And with confidence, I know they're going to be able to take care of it. And then legacy, it's just accountability and looking after your family, looking after your employees, if you have a business, looking after the sustainability of your company, and making sure that that legacy goes on, even if you're not able to do that or if you're gone.
Folks, if you're just joining us, please follow Judy at judycooperbarger.today. We do have the QR code, so you can scan that code. It'll send you directly to her website. There's a lot of great information in addition to what we're discussing today. But I think what I love about the show is the fact that you're bringing everyday things that are happening, right? A lot of us started in 2026. Hey, this year I'm going to do this different. I'm going to do this different, whether it's personal, whether it's business. And if you're joining us today, we are discussing small legal oversights that become big financial problems. And that's what we want to avoid, specifically now that we're starting fresh for a new year. So make sure you're taking notes, make sure you're sharing the stream as well, too. So in having these folks listen to us and having some business owners or business owners that are just getting started, what's one legal step that could prevent future stress?
I would say to put a plan in place, at least on the back of a napkin, right? So if you get an estate planning guide, and you can probably get them all over online, our firm has it. The 3 big things that you want to have in your mind if you're ready to go update your planning or start from the beginning. You want to know, first of all, distribution. If I'm here, who gets what I have? When do they get it? How do they get it? Is it all at once or over time? Is it when they attain a certain age? Who, what, when, and how distribution will go. The second thing is exactly what do I have? Do I have life insurance? Do I have 401ks and IRAs, annuities, anything with a beneficiary? Are the beneficiaries buttoned up the way they should be and current? And the third thing is the big thing, the roles of the people that will be part of your estate plan. And those 3 roles are primarily who's going to be in charge of managing the assets, gathering the information, working with an attorney if it's needed, and distributing everything. Who's going to be taking over the reins, stepping into my shoes and getting everything where it needs to go? Who's that person? And maybe managing it on my behalf if I'm unable, right? We don't always live until we die. Sometimes there's that period where it needs to be managed on my behalf, right? Who's going to talk to the doctors if I can't? Who's going to decide whether to donate my organs? Who's going to follow my wishes for those end of life dignity issues? On Sunday afternoon, am I watching the ball game or I Love Lucy, right? Who knows that about me and can make sure that my care and my less competent days are, dignified. And I'm living the way I would want to, even though I'm not even aware of how to communicate that. And then the third role is going to be who decides whether I have that capacity or not. You don't want the court doing that. It's awful to go through a competency hearing or deal with the courts on conservatorship and having people that don't know you deciding whether you can take care of business or not. People that know you best will know. And usually it shows up where you just, you kind of slip a little bit and all of a sudden money or gift cards are being sent to Nigeria, to someone you've never met. The people closest to you will know that and things are not okay. If you went to the market or you went to the doctor's office and you're there for 20 minutes, they'd go, oh, she's fine. But the people that know you're not. So who are those people? So who talks to the doctors for you? Who talks to the lawyers for you and the financial institutions for you? And who decides whether you're still able to take care of business or not? That keeps the court out of your business, right? Let the family do that. So those are the 3 things. If you write down distribution, how you want it, and you write down the people you want to serve in those different roles of your estate plan, you're well on your way. And that's something you can do to make progress right now.
That's powerful. And also, I'm going to follow up with the obvious question, right? And you've answered this already, but I want you to just stress this a little bit more. It's why do people avoid dealing with just legal details that they know matter? So I can give you a personal example, but I'd like to hear it from you also.
Avoidance behavior. We don't like to do that. Most of us don't like to do all the stuff together for taxes. and put the numbers in the boxes and go online and pull the records that we need and get all the receipts in the shoebox, all that stuff. Most of us don't like to do that. We want to do life. We want to be with our family. We want to be at work. We want to be doing our business or out in the garden or on the golf course, right? We don't want to do the details of life. That's delegable, right, to someone else. So we just avoid it. We put it off. Some people every year delay their taxes and file an extension and do it the very last week. To me, that's very stressful. I wouldn't live that way, but a lot of people do. So it's just not wanting to do what you don't want to do, and that just goes back to Nike. Just do it. You feel better when it's done. Right?
That's true. And I will tell you that part of it is too, and actually, we talked about this in one of our previous shows too. I think once you really address the issue, it becomes reality, which you should have been taking. So all of a sudden, you can't live in this la 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 fantasy world or whatever, and now it's real. This now I have to adult, right? Becoming adult, take responsibility and do that. And I think a lot of people are just not at that mindset as well too.
Yeah, I had a conversation yesterday like that. It was a young couple, just about 30. They just are expecting their second baby any moment. And they still have stuff from their early years, their teen and early 20s years to clean up credit stuff. And they've never had a budget. They live paycheck to paycheck and shouldn't, really. They have plenty of money, but poof, where does it? They sold a truck and had $10,000. Where did it go? And they're looking at each other going, where'd it go? Nobody knows. And they're like, we are ready to Nike, right? We're ready to just do it. We want to get order around our finances. We want to be confident. We want to move forward. We want to make progress and not spin and make the same mistakes that we've made the last decade. We really want our 40s to be way better than our 30s. And it's easy to do. I always say it's very, well, maybe not easy, simple. And the principles are simple, but it's not easy because it's new habits. It's a new perspective, a new way of looking at things. And you don't have to sacrifice everything and never have fun and never spend money and never do things. But it's balancing that and having a plan. And I'm a big planner, so the plan is a word I use frequently. And so I was telling them, all you got to do is have a plan, a debt reduction strategy in a short period of time, shorter than you think. That'll all go away. You'll get your credit back. Now you can buy your house and actually get a decent interest rate. Everything shifts in a very short time. When you have a plan, you're rowing in that boat together, same direction, and you're making choices together, not trying to outspend each other or out earn each other, but you're working together on a plan with common goals. And it's a beautiful thing when people get that, especially early in life, like this young couple. By 35, they will be straightened out, have a nice savings, have all their estate planning done, have all of their strategic planning done for retirement. They both work in education, so the pension, the base is already there. I mean, they're going to be set, but they should, in my opinion, I never like to should on people, but in my opinion, I would recommend that they have a plan in place where life is more pleasant and peaceful between now and then. Not wait for retirement, but enjoy it along the way. So I love it when I get those kind of questions and engagement that say, help me. I'm ready to do it now.
Awesome. And folks, we are at the tail end of the show, so you know what that means.
Challenge time. So here's your Money Truth Challenge for this episode. Oh, I'm going to challenge you to write one thing down, pen and paper, that you have been postponing, whether it's your will, your trust, your beneficiaries, talking to a financial person, talking to a lawyer, getting an accountant, something in the financial world at your house. What's one thing that you can do in the legal area, in the protection area that you've been postponing, and just look at what you wrote, acknowledge it, think about it, maybe even consider, why have I not taken action? What's the barrier between me and getting that done? But write it down. I think when you have it in front of you and you start to face it, you can't change what you don't acknowledge, right? So we're going to acknowledge that, write it down, acknowledge it. Then you can put a plan of action in place. That's your challenge.
All right, folks, you have heard the challenge. Please share the stream. Make sure you share this episode with other folks. And next week, we're going to be talking about investing and how to stay calm when the market feels a little noisy, a little weird, a little uncertain. But you have to stay tuned to watch that. Judy, any last parting words?
Oh, make it a great week. Enjoy the weather, whatever weather you're having. I'm sorry if you're in the Northeast, buried in ice and snow, but we're not here. We're just enjoying the rain. Enjoy the weather, love your family, and make it a great week.
All right, folks, until next week, be safe.